It's working. Hello and welcome back to more Completing Minecraft. Today, we're going to be expanding our Redstone empire. Or something. Now, I know that you're going to be looking at this thinking, hang on, wasn't the observer one block lower? And you'd be right, it was. It was in fact one block lower. However, there was a slight problem with that, which I really should have picked up when I was testing it out over here. But what was happening was what is this called again? Sugarcane, that's right. The sugarcane was growing, triggering the observer, which would then trigger the piston. The problem is, of course, that when the piston opened and closed, that is a state change of this block here, which then triggered the observer again, which then triggered the piston, which opened and closed, which then triggered the observer, which then triggered the piston, and so on and so forth, which basically meant that as soon as the sugarcane grew one square, this piston would never stop. It would just keep going back and forth forever, because its own action was triggering the observer. And yeah, I had to change that, so I've moved this upwards so that it now requires the sugarcane to grow twice before triggering the piston, and because there's an air gap between the two, it won't have the same drawback. However, that being said, this may work as a device, and I'm pretty sure most of this is unnecessary at this stage, but it doesn't look that great. Let's be honest. You know, it's functional and it works, but it doesn't look the greatest. So I think what we're going to be doing today is changing this. I've always kind of wanted to get rid of this area anyway, because the number of times I've come out of my house, come around here, and there's been just a skeleton floating here shooting me with an arrow. The number of times that's happened is more often than I'd like for it to be a thing. So I'm gonna completely change this area. Get rid of the hole as it currently is. Keep the water, but just raise it up one block, which is going to take a while. And then we're going to remake this sugarcane farm, expand the piston mechanic, improve upon the design, and then we're going to see what happens. Because I've got some concerns. You can't just have endless observers next to each other because, well, these redstone lines would just kind of connect to one another and make the whole thing pointless. So I need to think about what I'm doing there. But for now, let's just go ahead and redo this area. I think I've got plenty of dirt in my chests in the attic up there, so we should be able to fix that. But yes, today we're going to be redoing this entire contraption and making it look actually good. Or at least passable. Okay, so here we are. I've simplified things massively here. We have just one channel of water because that's all we need. I've got sugarcane right there, and I've done some testing off camera, and it turns out any block can be powered by redstone. Any block at all. So I'm thinking what I might do is I'm going to have the piston there as before, but instead of using stone, what I might do for aesthetic reasons, because, well, this is a farm kind of area, so I'm thinking, you know, having dirt laying around might not be a terrible thing. It'll be more aesthetically pleasing to look at from the window, you know. So we're going to build this up here, and then I'm going to have the observer... Where is it? There you are. Going to have the observer... here. Looking in this direction. That's actually stupid. No, because it needs... Right. I failed already. I need to have the observer... If I'm having it look horizontally instead of vertically, it needs to be on just the same level there. And this avoids the problem I had before with the observer looking at the piston, and then it triggering from there. Because it's not looking at the piston, so that's fine. But then we have to think about how I'm going to get the power from this block to here. Because if I do that, that's not powering that block. So if I was to do this... Oh, it does work. Never mind, I'm talking absolute rubbish. So that's fine. That works. In fact, let's just go ahead and test this. If I go ahead and put a sugarcane block on top of this, nothing happens, as it shouldn't. But then as soon as I put one up here... Excellent. Okay, that one flew backwards, though, for some reason. I don't know why. Is that what happens sometimes? Okay, one went there, one went there. I don't know why this one came backwards, but that's a thing we can work around for sure. Then a question then after this is, where do I put the hopper? Do I, in fact, do this, where I put the chest here, and then the hopper on top? Would that work? Or would it not? Because of the way it works with everything else. You know, like we saw that one flying backwards. Does it grab it in the same sense that I would if I was close enough to it? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's going backwards again. So that's easily fixed, though. We can put a block on top. And then try again. See what... Whoops. Ah! No, didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. Okay, they just went down to the side. Clearly some refining is in order here. So I might be thinking about this a little bit too literally. Or rather, the fact that the hopper is up here could be the problem. If we go back to what I had it at before, with the chest in the water, and then the hopper on top, what happens then? Okay, I think both went in. They did. That one landed off to the edge, not a problem. Okay, so we actually had a decent number go into the hopper there, so that might be the way forward. That might actually be the way forward. Just have the hopper on the top. Now, I'm thinking, if that's done, if that's a given, if that's now a thing that has been successfully tested, how do I do this so that this entire row is filled up with pistons that now do the same thing? Because the obvious thing to think of would be to put the observer on top of the piston, but I don't know if that would actually work. We can try. And I think I actually tested this last time around? I don't know. Yeah, it pulses, but it doesn't do anything. Which means somehow I need to get the signal to there. And that's just not enough. So if we do that... Does that do it? No. This block is powered, but it doesn't travel downwards, which means if we were to do it this way, if I put redstone here, would that do it? Because that's being powered by this, and then that might power that block? No, it did pulse though. So getting it from here to here would mean we'd have to go like that. Which honestly just make things a lot more complicated redstone-wise. Because we can't... If we had another piston here, we can't have that same circuit set up because, well, you'd be going into this side. So how would you get around this? So, because I don't know enough about redstone to have it set up in the way I did just then with the observer on top of the piston, I've gone back to the original way I had it set up at the beginning of this episode, and I'm gonna try and have this one observer triggering all the pistons in this row once I have it set up properly. Which means that I need to figure out how to get the redstone... Just pick that up from here, from this powered block. Not only to this one, which is easy enough by doing that, but also over here. Because the problem is, if I do that, it does work, but the piston moving gets rid of the redstone. So it works exactly once. And I would kind of like it to work a little bit more often than that. See, it gets rid of both, but then you trigger it again. I need to pick up some more of my sugarcane. And then the second one, this time around, doesn't activate because the redstone has been knocked off of there. So I need to figure out how to get it to power this one as well, because I don't think I can have it coming down here. I don't think that works. Not in the way that I think it will, at least. See, again, it powers the first one, not the second one. So if it won't go down the back, and I can't go over the top, going under isn't an option either, I don't think. Because the problem is, although I could do that, and this brick will be powered, which will power this, I don't think this one would be. I don't think it travels through 2 blocks. I'm almost positive that it doesn't. So it'll, once again, trigger the first one. Oh! Okay. It does? Well, that's a thing I didn't think would happen. Okay, let's go get some more pistons and see what we can do. Okay, so I have 3 more pistons. So let's see what happens if I do that. Will the power from the redstone go through all of these blocks? I'm almost positive it won't. But I guess we'll see how far it actually goes. No, just the first 2. Okay, so that's not an option. That's not enough. So hold on, if I can't go at the back, if I can't go literally over the top of these, what happens if I go over the top this way? Will that work? Because then that powers all of these blocks, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure that putting a redstone on a block powers that block. I'm almost positive that's how that works. Which means then if we stack that up... Oh, sweet, sweet victory. Okay. So, I can do this then. Okay, so this looks slightly ridiculous, I have to admit. But this could potentially be my first proper auto farm. And in case you're wondering, I haven't said this yet, why I want to farm sugarcane. It's because you need this to make paper. And I need paper to make books. Which I need to make bookcases, which in turn make enchanting better. I think the more bookcases you have around your enchanting table, the stronger enchants you can have, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how I read how it works. But we're going to test this now. I've set up a 2 block of sugarcane all the way down there. And we're now going to double check that there's nothing already in the chest. It's like a magic trick, I'm telling you. I'm now going to trigger the observer, which is going to activate all these pistons, hopefully. Knock that piece of sugarcane into that hopper, which is going to travel all the way down here into this chest. So we could end up with 2 or 3 pieces, depending on how they fall, honestly. And I hope this works. Not close enough. Well, it worked in the sense that it cut that piece of sugarcane off, but how many pieces are in the chest? 2. So where's the third one? There's a third one. It was the top piece from here, which means that one traveled all the way down. And it is working as intended. So I can, in fact, have 2 pieces missing there for now, but that's fine. I can just leave this now, essentially, and it'll just farm sugarcane for me. Are you kidding me? Did you not see the... Alright, fine. Having 1 flag looks silly anyway. Let's go. Well, that wasn't so bad. Also, it turns out, if you position yourself so they kill the flag bearer themselves, you don't get that debuff. You don't get that status effect that sits about in the top right corner usually. Alright, so let me just position this right. I'm sure I heard a zombie a second ago. Might be around the corner. Let's not invite trouble. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's on this block facing in this direction. There we go. Now, let that be a warning to any other pillagers that might think that this farm is easy pickings. Because it's not. You come here with your fancy party of 4. You know, honestly, I might just redo that because that looks kind of weird from up here. I might sink it into the floor a little bit so it's less obvious, but we'll see. You think you can come here with your fancy party of 4 trying to cause me bother, but you're just gonna end up getting killed. And, oh, okay, well, they got a few lucky hits in, let's just say that. But I think that's going to be it for this video now. Next time... Honestly, I'm thinking we might make some kind of mob farm, because as well as having books for enchanting, I do need the levels. So I'm thinking I might make some kind of mob farm, so I can do exactly that, in a safe environment without getting blown up by creepers. Because I'm sure you would have noticed at this point that I've died a couple of times because my levels would have suddenly dropped down to single digits. So yeah, that's the thing. But next time, we're going to be making a mob farm, building up our levels, thinking of enchanting, and then from that point onwards, we can seriously think about the nether. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed this, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.